Why is there a piss cup in here?
That's not a piss cup.
What is it?
That's a jizz cup.
Oh, okay. Awesome. Great. Thanks for bringing me over. I appreciate it.
Hey, Rayburn, I hear you were born country.
I was born country. As much as I try to fight it, I was born country. Welcome back to Rated Radio and Season 8. We're your hosts, Rayburn Alexander and Shane Wyndham. Shane, let's do this again. What Billboard hit did we cover this week?
The song was First Class by someone named Jack Harlow.
And what did you think of it?
If I had to pick a genre in which to enjoy mumble rap style, it would definitely be R&B. I've known this, and yet it still surprises me when I hear a trap soul track which lands for me. I think this is likely owed to the fact that it's really hard to oversimplify a sex track, and when that fact blends with R&B's chill layering, I'm instantaneously hooked. This isn't lyrical gold or musically significant, but it is catchy and memorable. 5 stars.
Am I really old enough to where an artist today is starting to cover Fergie samples? Like, we're that old, we've reached that point.
Is it really a Fergie sample, or was it
It's
earlier
glamorous.
than Ferger?
I don't know.
Okay.
It's Glamorous by Fergie. That's what I remember it from. So we've come full circle in a way. Yeah, fuck my life. The lo-fi beats are nice, and the rapping style is chill, but rather repetitive at its core. Still not a bad bop, though. 4 stars.
Well, we were going to be family friendly from here on, but you just fucked that, so...
Roll the intro.
All right, you got your disco big rig started up here. You're ready to...
Well, it's not disco because we're not covering disco. My big country big rig, my fucking Mack truck, dump truck. Yes, let's get it. First artist that we covered was Toby Keith, as Shane mentioned in the intro.
By the way, I'm sorry.
No, you're not.
I'm a little shooketh from that special that we did.
That where I fucked it all up.
Yeah, so my energy is it's a little uncertain right now. That was a very fun episode in the end.
For you.
Anyway, go ahead.
Right.
I'll try to bounce back and be my normal
All right,
self.
I'm prepared this episode. Quit ruining my flow. First album that we covered by Toby Keith was Toby Keith from 1993. This was my bottom album.
This was my middle album.
I gave it 3 5s out of 13 tracks.
7 out of 10. You rated the 3 bonus re-release tracks from where he completely renamed the album in 2010 or something.
And changed the cover. Because I was looking, I remember this cover of him in that fucking blonde mullet and the blue shirt standing up against the wall, and I'm like searching for it. That's why I changed, because I had originally picked a different album.
Yeah, if you go to Spotify, you're not going to see this disc. You're going to see something called Should Have Been a Cowboy.
Yes.
Which is this album with 3 extra tracks on the end.
Yeah. So my top track was He Ain't Worth Missing.
Agreed.
So good. So good. Bottom track is Some Kinda Good, Kinda Hold On Me.
I get it, but close but no guitar. Went a little overboard for me. The name kind of says it all.
Well, he got creative with some of these names. If Some Kinda Good, Kinda Hold On Me. Dude, come on.
I think that's one of the few tracks he didn't write.
Yeah, which we're going to talk a little bit more about his writing
What'd you
capability.
think about the album, Brady?
Anyway, this is classic 90s country, romantic at its core, dancey at times. I could do without the backing vocals. For me, it can be a little bit too 90s cheese, especially when it comes to country. And as always, and I will die on this hill, Toby Keith has a good voice.
You hear silence here. I'm not arguing. Say
what you will about the man and his opinions. He's got a great voice. So, what did you think about the album?
Oh, well.
Oh, great. This is off to a really great start.
She already knows. I'm digging a knife here. You ready?
Yeah, got it. I'm prepared.
The John Bon Jovi of country has arrived. And this is a solid debut, assuming you enjoy 90s country, where Toby goes overboard on cheese and cliche. He usually offsets it with tremendous melody work and top-notch production. His love songs are what I like about him, and there are a good deal of those here.
All right. Hot takes. Oh, cool. All right, next album that we covered.
I will eventually get you to discover you are a Bon Jovi fan.
I look forward to that day. Sincerely, I really, really do. Anyway,
It probably won't come.
That day's not today.
Yeah, I've increased the anti, portion of your brain, the anti Bon Jovi portion.
I'm gonna try to be. What I've heard, I'm not a fan of, but we have established, if anything, on this podcast, especially when it comes to artists that we don't like, expanding and broadening our musical horizons for the artist. Really, you haven't done an artist justice until you've done that. So I say I don't like John Bon Jovi. Maybe I just haven't heard what I like.
All I really know are the hits, to be fair. So
okay, awesome.
But I like those hits.
Okay. All right, next album that we covered by Toby Keith was How Do You Like Me Now from 1999. This is my middle album.
Bottom.
I gave it 3 5s out of 12 tracks.
6.
My top track was You Shouldn't Kiss Me Like This.
Bottom of my heart, but I do really like your top track.
And my bottom track was Country Comes to Town.
Heart to Heart.
Okay, all right. This is goofy, but still, at his core, Toby is a hopeless romantic. Classy country inspirations. Voice is still pleasant and has a good depth and definitely easy to understand. That's one of my critiques when it comes to country artists is they all have a drawl that makes their words run together, that they don't really articulate. Toby doesn't do that. When he talks, you can understand him a little bit better. And for me, tender Toby.
In short, the trouble with this album for me is that the melodies are often generic, while the lyrics are more eye-roll inducing than on his debut. While there are still some winners, and I rated everything at a 4 or higher, there's a lot of trite mediocrity here. Still love the more sensual sounding tracks, though. Your top track, I always think in my head, like, it's not that great. But then I turn it on and it fucking goes. Mm-hmm.
I just want someone. I remember listening to this song because I was listening to it after I rated because I get in Toby Keith moods every so often. Blue will be sitting there playing video games. I'm sitting there folding laundry at the dining room table and I play this song. And out of nowhere, I look at Blue and I go, you know what? All I want is a man to scoop me up and slow dance with me to this song in my living room. So I was like, did your dad do that growing up? He was like, yes. And my mom never appreciated it because she didn't like country. So sorry, Mom. But
yeah,
you didn't deserve Dad in that aspect.
These fun relationship dynamics we all have. Mm-hmm. It's like, what are you doing? I'm trying to change my partner slowly but surely over the years, even though it's never going to happen and we're just going to die.
Yeah.
But you got to love somebody.
Yeah, such is life, I guess. Nobody wants to go through alone. Maybe one day. But Blue's not a dancer, so I doubt that'll happen. Next album that we covered by Toby Keith was Pull My Chain from 2001. This was my top album.
I'm agreeing.
I gave it 4 5s out of 13 tracks.
12.
Wow.
Yeah, I did not expect to like this album as much as I did.
When I was going through, I thought you would hate this album. I thought the first album would be your favorite.
The first album is definitely the Toby Keith era that I gravitate toward.
Yeah. My top track is I Want to Talk About Me, but an honorable mention, and I made a note of it. My list was right up there.
You Leave Me Weak.
Okay. And my bottom track was the Sha La La song.
Most definitely agreed. That song, and what irks me so much about it too, is it could easily have been a 5 if he just didn't do the fucking sha la 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 la.
Yeah, I know.
Gosh.
I know.
Go away with that, Toby. Oh my God.
Goofier as time goes on, Toby Keith gets. He can try a little bit too hard at times, bigger production, and lyrics can be a bit simple, but that's not necessarily a knock. Toby, at this point in his career, he's realized his shtick. He's like, I'm goofy, I'm romantic. I'm goofy, I'm romantic. Or when you go a little bit farther down the discography, it's like, America, I'm goofy, I'm romantic, so he definitely gets more patriotic as time goes on, but luckily we kept it early in his career, and I'm glad we don't see too much of that. Not to say that that's a bad thing, but not necessarily something that I want shoved down my throat when I'm trying to enjoy Toby Keith.
Okay. I wrote that to judge this album negatively at the outset based on the quickly tired silliness of I Want to Talk About Me would be a mistake. Where other country albums tend toward a mixed bag of hit and miss tropes, this sticks almost every landing. It's a vibe, a chill, fun bar country sort of spin. There's also tons of musical frill in the background, the Counting Crows-esque Wurlitzer being the highlight for me. It may not scratch that devastating love song itch, but there's just no denying it. This is a damn good country music album.
My first experience with Toby Keith was Dad. He used to play the 93 Toby Keith album and the How Do You Like Me Now album. And I can remember specifically seeing those stupid album covers when he would play them. And I just grew up really, really liking Toby Keith more so than other artists that are going to be covered on this episode, but we'll find out more.
Dude, the first thing I remember from Toby Keith is when I was in Idaho, staying with my grandmother. They had a house up on a mountain that overlooked the river and the town that they lived by, and I had a cassette player with all of these cassettes, just like
random.
Yeah, they're trying. You don't have the radio stations up there, or you didn't, the way that I was used to in Texas. So when we got to Idaho, one of the first things I remember happening was we'd go to garage sales and like pick up these random cassettes.
Just so that you would have music in your life.
Yeah. And I remember being out there with like Michael Jackson's Dangerous album or the Vanilla Ice debut, like shit like that. Paula Abdul. But it was like Garth Brooks' The River and then Toby Keith's Should Have Been a Cowboy. Like I'd be out under my headphones feeding horses and just overlooking it. Yeah, it's a nice memory for me.
I'm picturing you as an adolescent feeding horses, listening on your cassette player. I bet you never heard of sure did.
Yes. And it's weird because that's up there. That was closest to cowboy that I've probably ever been. And yet you think you're supposed to be in Texas to be some cowboy. I don't know. Oh,
God. I love that. I love it. A couple more things about Toby Keith is Toby Keith's actual name is Toby Keith Covell or whatever. He was born in Oklahoma. Hey. Sorry, we just booked a cabin trip. Oklahoma. He got his first guitar at the age of 9. And as we talked about earlier, he has a major hand in writing his own songs. A lot of them he writes himself. He's really, really involved in writing his own music. He's also acted in a variety of productions, such as the movie Broken Bridges, Beer for My Horses, which you cannot find anywhere, and I'm super pissed off because it also stars Rodney Carrington.
Yeah.
And Willie Nelson. So I want to see it just for the Rodney Carrington, Toby Keith collab because Rodney Carrington's hilarious. And many other specials and TV spots. So he's got a bit of an acting bug.
I'd mention that part of Pick 'em Up and Lay 'em Down's riff, the song Pick 'em Up and Lay 'em Down, that riff sounds exactly like Bubba Shot the Jukebox. If you know, you know, I guess. The music makes me feel like I'm hearing a genuinely talented songwriter push to chase trends in order to continue succeeding. And you already talked about that as the discography goes on. Yeah, so my recommendation would be to return to your heartfelt 90s sound, even though clearly I enjoyed Pull My Chain, and there's some other albums around that time that I did
that was barely out of the 90s. Let's give it that. But yeah, I miss older Toby Keith. Like, I love the humor of newer Toby Keith, but he still has it here. I miss early Toby Keith a lot. So
I miss earlier Toby Keith, I think, is the thing.
What do you mean earlier Toby Keith? Like what we covered here. That's what I'm saying.
You went Toby Keith 93 and then you jumped 6 years up to How Do You Like Me Now.
That's true. Yeah,
like
you're right.
there's
that first album is still
Blue
good.
Moon, Boomtown. Like there's some.
We got a lot to cover in the future.
And you were alive, so I don't know what your excuse is here.
I wasn't really listening to country. Okay, I got to the country game late.
Hey, don't put your hand up and start shaking your head. I'm not trying to insult you.
I'm about to slap you silly, man.
There were more hits here than I expected, and I dig that he writes so much of what he records. While his cringe can occasionally be unmatched, he does at least manage balance in the other direction. These aren't the albums I've chosen. There it is again. So it was a nice surprise finding just how much of this I found to be enjoyable.
Thanks. Are we ready to take a break?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, let's take a break.
So was our list for the week.
Songs that grew on you. And yeah, this one wasn't an easy one for me, but that's okay. My choice for songs that grew on you was Running Up That Hill, A Deal with God by Kate Bush. Yes, I, along with 90% of the population right now. And before you say anything, Shane, I am aware of your familiarity with this song and this artist, even before the Duffer Brothers forced all of us Stranger Things fans to experience it. But not only consider this song, but possibly Bush herself to grow on you a little bit. So
yeah, as Maxwell would say, Kate Bush is the bomb.
Yeah.
Yeah, this was on Forgotten Classics for me.
Mm-hmm.
And I think what we're not talking about here when it comes to Stranger Things, of what we have of season 4 right now.
Mm-hmm.
What else was in there, Rayburn? Did you miss Tarzan Boy?
No,
My son didn't miss Tarzan Boy.
I didn't, because I looked at Blue and I was like, of course they would play fucking Tarzan Boy. Yes, I caught Tarzan Boy.
Yeah, that season is definitely more in my zone.
Mm-hmm.
I like the music in that show, period. But
we could talk. This season has gotten a lot more visually terrifying.
We're only halfway through, too.
I know. But that whole, the body floating,
All right. Slow up.
All right. Get to your choice, please. Tarzan Boy?
Yeah, songs that grew on you. I've already used Tarzan Boy. I can't use it again.
Oh. You can always use it, Shane. You get my permission.
I don't, though.
Okay.
I won't. I refuse to.
Okay, all right.
I think when we get to that point, maybe the list just go away.
Okay.
You'll do lists by yourself. I don't know. I went with a song called The Scene by Damen. When Damen's Mend Your Misery album first landed, I always skipped this track. Then in '08, when I found myself unexpectedly single and refusing to stay lonely, this song suddenly became the one I knew would always remind me of those equally terrific and terrible days. More specifically, I remember being in a movie theater, watching previews with another woman, when my phone rang. I instinctively exited the theater to take the call. It was Megan. That's my wife. She said she thought she'd made a major mistake in leaving. It was a quick call. I finished the movie and quickly went home alone, knowing I'd make good on the promise I'd made myself to take her back if she returned. But what's never talked about is what an absolute motherfucker her timing was. If she'd waited one more day to place that call, the scene of my present life would likely look vastly different because, plainly put, my date that night was someone I'd never have walked out on or hurt once I'd had her in my arms. And to be honest, when I look back, I'm still not sure what that means.
Okay.
It's a reference to the song's lyrics.
Got it.
We'll move on.
Got it. All right. Well, I learned something new today. I always thought it was Megan that took you back, not you taking Megan back. I know she walked out. Okay, first of all, I don't ask these sort of questions because it's fucking rude. Second of all, as much as you share, which you share a lot, that's not something that you've ever shared with me before. So nice to know.
Yeah, our breakup was, that was not really about our relationship. It was more about someone freshly out of college, life not going exactly the way they expected it to. You know, this was '08 crash, hard to find a job. So when you think you're going to be a teacher your whole life and then that's not happening, you know, you start to question everything.
Yeah.
And here's Goober, whose car barely runs. Like, yeah, you're on the chopping block.
How long had y'all been together up until that point, if you don't mind me asking?
It was a year and a half.
Because you guys got together the same year that Blue and I did.
07?
Which is crazy to think. Well, it might have been September of 06 for us, but it's really damn close. Like, Megan came into the picture just about the same time Blue did. So it's funny that they've never been around without the other, kind of. So that's weird and cool.
And also deserves a little more, what the fuck am I trying to say here?
I don't know.
I don't want it coming across wrong. I think the reason I talk about the situation, the specifics of the breakup and what it related to, understand the absolute hell it is to be with me on the opposite side. We probably dated for half a year or longer before I solidified anything. And then we were together for 6 years before I proposed.
Yeah.
You know, like it's a lot of waiting. So I think that's the thing is There are a lot of people in the world who feel like they're wasting time. I know you're over there laughing because you're still waiting for something to some degree.
You know what?
But you know where he stands on that situation.
I know that I want to spend the rest of my life with this person, and he knows that he wants to spend it. I'm not waiting for anything. I found it.
Yeah, so marriage is a frill, right?
Yeah.
It would be nice in your head.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, like, I would like to be married. It would be easier. I've voiced this, but it doesn't justify the strength of my relationship. Yeah. So when people are like, oh, why aren't you married? Pity you. And I'm like, I found what most people are still, even married people, looking for. And I'm chill. I'm good.
Marriage for a lot of people can be a crutch. Mm-hmm. I think, you get to that point in the relationship where like, things aren't exactly, feeling new and great. Yeah. Let's get married. It'll be exciting. No. That's never the way to do it.
No.
So to put it off completely, you avoid that crutch that a lot of people deal with,
I love that you're throwing me a bone right now.
I'm trying.
No relationship is perfect. Shane will agree. It is work making them work. But when you found someone that you don't want to let go of, hold on to them with all you have.
Yeah, and where I started out there was my wife is Kate Bush-esque. That is to say she's the bomb. And
wait, stop talking about your wife's bush, man.
No, I'm not talking about my wife's bush. But the other thing was just with regard to relationships. A lot of people out there, I think a relationship is all about staying power, two people being hard-headed enough to make it work, even though everyone's going to have their problems and run up against things. Mm-hmm. But sometimes you have to wait.
Yeah.
I remember, hooking up with a person once and they'd be like, okay, where's this going? I met you last week.
Yeah.
Can we, I'll meet your mother. We'll do, whatever we need to do here. But
I know people that are, at least from my perspective, happily married, but it all started out with an ultimatum. I don't necessarily believe in ultimatums. Like, you don't, either or and if you.
That's what I meant by crutch, though. Don't you feel like a lot of proposals are ultimatums anyway? Like, what the fuck is going to happen exactly when you say no to a proposal?
I know. And it's just, I don't know. It's one of those things people may think I'm a sucker for not believing in ultimatums, but do you really want to start a lifelong relationship browbeating someone into putting a ring on it?
There's a lot of different types of people and couples, and I don't want to negatively judge anything. It may be a sign that you need some help from like a professional, that the two of you should go see. I think if both of you are willing, then you're okay, right?
Me and Blue?
No, not you and Blue. I'm talking about relationships and people in general.
Yeah.
Like, so even if it's an ultimatum and you're anti-ultimatum, like if the other person, if you realize like we should seek help. Mm-hmm. Just to figure out where our communication breakdown is, and both of you are willing to go do it, I think that's probably the better sign. Yeah. So what I'm saying is, if you do propose and the other person says no, maybe instead of just breaking up with them, you see if they'll go to a counselor with you, and if they won't, here's your sign.
Yeah. Well, the funny thing is when people say no, they're not saying no to being in a relationship with you. Maybe they just don't want to get married. Maybe they want to spend the rest of their life with you, but marriage isn't in their idea of a perfect relationship. And that's fine if you're willing to compromise with the person. If you're not, it all comes down to the individual. What are you willing to compromise on, and what are you willing to not compromise on?
Yeah.
And there's nothing wrong with the decision you make, because what works for you works for you.
For sure. If you propose to somebody without knowing that they want to get married, then that's on you.
Yeah. I mean, be expecting that hard no. But how the fuck did we get off on this tangent?
We are not professionals. Let's go talk about Tim McGraw.
I love that we just turned into Ask Delilah. Ask Delilah.
Okay, I'm going to cut everything then.
Why?
I don't want to love someone tonight. Well, okay. Fuck. I just had a realization about myself, and I'm somewhere else now. It's not a good place. Can we talk about Tim McGraw?
Yes, we can talk about Tim McGraw. The first album that we covered by Tim McGraw was Not a Moment Too Soon from 1994. This was my bottom album.
Agreed.
I gave it 1.5 out of 10 tracks.
I gave it 9.
And this is your bottom album? Holy shit, Shane, where are we going? You gave it 9 out of 10.
Mm-hmm. Remember, I don't rank the albums based on 5s anymore.
Yeah, that's true. All right. My top track is Don't Take the Girl.
Not a moment too soon.
And my bottom track was Down on the Farm.
It doesn't get any countryer than this.
Okay.
What's wrong with Down on the Farm? Doesn't matter.
It
Let's
doesn't
just
matter.
continue. What do you think about the album?
This sticks to gimmick country for me. Southern dance music. And Tim McGraw, especially in this album, has more of a yodel in his vocal style. Classic 90s country sound throughout. Like, classic.
Okay.
Did
you just say he yodels?
Listen,
we went
sounds.
from Toby Keith vocal praise to Tim McGraw yodels.
He does a little when he sings.
While this disc has moments of that predictable country cliche many people loathe, it mostly hits you with the fun or heartfelt charm that's made Tim McGraw a household name. The music is a lot of hit and a little miss. The hooks punch, his voice nails it.
Yodel.
I don't enjoy the way it starts out, otherwise I continue loving this album almost 30 years after its release.
Next album that we covered by Tim McGraw was Everywhere from 1997. This was my middle album.
Top.
I gave it 4 5s out of 11 tracks.
9.
My top track was Just to See You Smile.
For a little while, but that was a very hard choice.
Mm-hmm. And my bottom track was Hard on the Ticker.
So I was torn between Hard on the Ticker and You Turn Me On.
I think that was my other low one too. This is added more violin and fiddle here, more love and reflective songs. Now, I did not look up when him and Faith Hill, he has been with Faith Hill for the past 25 years. And for those of you that don't know, Faith Hill is also a country music star. I don't know when their relationship started. I'm not good at math, but they've been together 25 years. I don't know if this is when it started because he's definitely more reflective on relationships here, more in love, it seems like. So maybe. He's added more slide guitar to slower tracks, and his vocals are better for me here.
Okay, well, I'm glad the vocals are better.
Thank you.
Apart from a few goofy, cheesy, lyrical deviations, this is an album that I deeply relate to. It's sad, it's blissful, it doesn't look back with malice or bitterness in mind. There are a ton of small bits of extra flair in the music, and the production is exquisite. Just an amazing 90s country milestone.
The next album that we covered by Tim McGraw was A Place in the Sun from 1999. This was my top album.
Middle.
I gave it 5 5s out of 14 tracks.
14.
For the country.
She's trying.
I'm trying.
She's trying to find something new.
I did it because it's country week.
Okay.
I
I
hate
like that one.
myself.
I like that one.
I hate it.
Season 8. Welcome.
When I walked through the door, your son walked up to me and shoved Blue's Clues in my face, and the first sound out of my voice was pow, 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 pow. So maybe I'm like in that mind frame.
Yeah, I struggled to remember the little plush doll's names. Like, I got Blue.
Magenta.
Rayburn walks in.
Salt.
Oh, it's Blue and Magenta. What the fuck?
That's why your son loves me, because I'm a child myself.
I don't remember what I called that fucking dog the other night. Magenta, I called the wrong name all the time, and he looks at me like, what the fuck is wrong with you?
I was going to say, knowing him, I'm surprised he didn't correct you. Maybe
He does.
Okay.
But first he eyeballs me. His sister has the mean mug, so he's doing that now.
Nice.
It's just like me. It's just her natural facial expression. Just be like,
You
the
just
fuck?
always look pissed off. Always.
No, I think I looked happy and approachable when I was young. Something changed. I don't know. Top track.
My top track is A Place in the Sun.
Please remember me.
That's a good one. I definitely gave that one a 5. And my bottom track is She'll Have You Back.
Senorita Margarita. Great, but a little too shallowly clever for me. Mm-hmm. I get where you're coming from with your bottom track, too.
Awesome. This is Love Sick. Does Faith Hill do all of his female vocals?
I don't think so.
Because the female vocals on this album sounds like Faith Hill. Like, nobody but Faith Hill. Anyway, just an observation. Lighthearted, aged a bit. The lyrics reflect a little bit on time passing, his age. He's growing up more and more. And songs are a little bit more epic now that he's more of an established artist at this point.
See, I didn't think some of these 5s were strong, and that's why this fell in the middle, even though it gave it a perfect rating.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. So, new project on the horizon. Stay tuned.
Oh, shit.
While the fives aren't always as affecting here as on the Everywhere album, I think this is the easiest of what we covered to let play from start to finish. The production and lyrics are slightly more run-of-the-mill here as well, but I can't deny the enduring charm of this effort. It may not be Tim McGraw at his finest throughout, but the man is definitely near the top of his game with this LP.
Couple notes about Tim McGraw before we move on. Tim McGraw's real name is Samuel Timothy McGraw. He is adopted, and he's not only an established country artist, but he's also a pilot. I don't know, I found that interesting. He wears his signature cowboy hat because he believes he has a big forehead. So it's not because he necessarily loves it. It's because he thinks his head's fucking big. And he originally hails from Louisiana. Also, have you seen that fucking dude?
Recently?
Yes.
No. I will say, I'm going to let you finish.
Dude is jacked.
Is he really?
He's in, like, really good shape. Like, too good a shape. He loves to work out. I'm going to show you a picture after this because I don't have my phone. But yeah, he's, like, jacked.
There was a certain point in time where my dad was really thin, and he looked a lot like Tim McGraw. A lot. And he actually sounds like Tim McGraw when he sings.
His nose and his mouth, I can see Tim McGraw in your dad, for sure.
Not anymore.
Not anymore.
My dad don't have any teeth right now.
him and his pogo stick. Yeah, the trajectory of Tim McGraw and your dad went in two very different directions.
One of my favorite things from the Idaho trips, because last I heard, my dad was in Idaho. I don't know if he's still there, but we see him every now and then. He'll come and hang out at Sandra and Corey's. It's my aunt and my cousin. We were all drunk, me and Corey were, and my dad showed up, and his girlfriend was talking a bunch, and my dad started talking, and I guess I looked confused or something. He got his teeth pulled probably 5 years ago, maybe a little more or less, I don't remember. And he was supposed to go get the dentures. He just never went and got the dentures.
Okay.
I could guess as to why, what his money went toward instead and has.
His pogo stick.
His pogo stick, for sure. The boombox on the back of his four-wheeler. I don't know. But I must have looked confused when he was talking. Like, I knew he didn't have any teeth, but I don't think I'd heard him up to that point. And Corey's just drunk as shit. Billy, nobody can fucking understand what you're saying. You ain't got no teeth. Anyway, Tim McGraw notes. He's jacked. I get it.
He's jacked. What do you have to say about Tim McGraw? Shane, it's your turn.
I think people should check out the live version of the song I Need You that he did with his wife, Faith Hill. I like the normal version better than the live version, but it's really apparent. You can hear it in the songs that they do together, too. These two make for a sensual pairing.
Yes, they do.
Good God.
Have you, like, I don't know how many music videos they're just loving up on each other.
Dude, just the way they look in each other's eyes.
They definitely, like, their sex life is still on and popping.
They fucking.
Yeah, for real. But they're a good-looking couple together.
Yeah, she's a good-looking woman.
She's a good-looking woman, yeah.
Looks very soft.
Soft, okay.
The music makes me feel, his music makes me feel like even Lost Love can feel like sunshine.
That's where you're realmed at.
Yeah. That's what I relate to. You call me a sad bastard, but I do feel
I
feel
are a sad
happy
bastard.
about the sad past things. It's actually me feeling good about the fact that I got to live whatever I got to live.
Okay. All right. You're at peace about it.
Not to reference Tim McGraw here too much, but as your dad would put it, I don't know why you got to be angry all the time.
Yeah. Which, that was not an album that we covered.
Imagine.
Damn. Missed opportunity.
I picked them, though, to be fair. Sorry, Eric. Yeah. If you can't tell, I'm a Tim McGraw fan. I'm also a big fan of a certain uncovered era of Toby Keith. That's for another time, even though we talked about it. I put Tim up there with Kenny Chesney as one of country's more unsung heroes, someone who's popularized a genre which too many music fans seem ready to hate.
So do I even need to ask who won for you?
It was Tim McGraw, but it was closer than I thought it was going to be. Quite a bit closer.
Okay. Well, it was also Tim McGraw for me, but by like a quarter of a point.
Don't you just pick them? No, you don't make emotional decisions and just...
No. I will say that I'm in more of a mood. Like, I will be in a special kind of mood, and I just want to hear Toby Keith. Like, I will literally ask Alexa. Sorry, I had to look around because I'm an Alexa in my office.
You had me thinking something was flying around.
No. I'm just looking to make sure she's not in here. I will specifically ask Alexa, play Toby Keith. I don't think I've ever asked my Alexa, play Tim McGraw. Tim McGraw has a lot more hits. That's just where it is for me.
I'm over here worried that if you're playing this out loud in a room and Raven's saying, Alexa, do this and Alexa, do that, it's just fucked everything. Like our show turned off.
Yeah, please.
Whatever.
No, whatever. I don't even care anymore. Whatever.
Well, next week, we are doing Bloodhound Gang versus The Lonely Island.
Yes, we are.
If you're following along, the albums we'll be covering by Bloodhound Gang are Use Your Fingers from 95, Hooray for Boobies from 99,
Yay.
and Hefty Fine from 2005. And then from The Lonely Island, we have everything but their soundtrack albums. So Incredibad from 2009, Turtleneck and Chain from 2011, and the Whack album from 2013.
Yeah, you're not going to get Pop Star Never Stop, Never Stopping here. That's for another time.
I still haven't seen that movie.
Neither have I. Maybe we should have a watch party.
Joseph says it's really good.
Okay.
I did watch the Bash Brothers Experience and enjoyed that quite a bit. We're talking about this before we get there.
Yeah, but that's got what's his face in it. I always read from, what's his name?
I don't know.
All right. Well, that's going to do it for this week. Welcome to Season 8. Hit up our playlist on Spotify, visit our merch shop, share our show with your friends. Come find us on social media and let us know what you think. Until next time, fill your world with music.
And if you ain't got no teeth, get some teeth.